Hello again, Year 5 and 6. This is Session 2 of your English unit of work on The Pied Piper of Hamelin by Robert Browning. To start today's session, I'd like you to think back to what we did yesterday. Can you recap the main events so far in the story from what we read in verses 1 to 4? Pause the video now and chat to an adult at home or make some jottings of the main events on some paper. Okay. Today's lesson, we are learning to answer literal retrieval questions. These are questions where the answer is in the text. We have to find it, underline it, and copy it down. What I'd like you to do now is pause the video and have a read of verses 5 and 6 of the poem using your copy of the text. And just like yesterday, I would like you to highlight any words you are unsure of the meaning of and spend some time using the strategies I taught you yesterday to clarify the meaning of those. Okay, and if you need to, you can look back at yesterday's video, but some quick reminders are you could look it up in a dictionary that could be online. You could talk about the meaning of the word with an adult at home. You could read around the words in the sentence to help you predict. And you could see if you know the word class of that word within the sentence too. So have a pause, do that for me, and then click play again for the next part of the lesson. Now you've read verses 5 and 6, I'm going to share some top tips for answering literal retrieval questions. So the first tip is read the question and highlight the keywords in that question to help us decide what we have to do. Decide which words from that question we will scan for in the text and where we will look in that text. Sometimes it will say, look at the verse beginning. So we go to our text, we'd find the verse that begins with the words in the question, and we put a little star next to that section of the text so that we know and our eye is drawn to just that part of the text we need to look at. When we think we found the answer, we would underline it or highlight it. And that will help us with the next tip. Copy it carefully, ensuring all words are spelt accurately. So that'll help us focus on exactly which words we're copying, and it'll keep the place of those words within the sentence too. When our eyes move from the text to our page where we're writing, we can lose where we're working, so that will identify it for us and keep it nice and bold and clear. Then, this sounds silly, but it really helps, and it helps you spot any careless errors. When you're finished, read the question and then read your answer out loud. Have you actually answered the question, or have you answered something else? Okay, so let's have a look at some examples of that today together. So our first question here says, write down 3 things you are told about the Pied Piper's appearance. So I'm going to model this one for you today. So keywords are write 3 things you are told about the Pied Piper's appearance. And I know appearance means the way he looks. So as I read the text, I'm going to underline or highlight actually anything that tells me about his appearance. His queer long coat from head to heel, well, there's something straight away, was half of yellow and half of red. I've got another thing there, half of yellow, half red. And he himself was tall and thin. So I've got tall, thin. I've actually got 4 things already, but I'll keep going because there are many to choose from for this answer. With sharp blue eyes, each like a pin, and light loose hair, yet swarthy skin. No tuft on cheek, nor beard on chin. A tall man, quaint attire. Okay, so that's a big list of many things you are told about his appearance, and you simply had to choose 3 of those and copy them down. Okay, so there's many that you could have chosen from there. let's have a look at a different question, which is also literal retrieval together. This question says, what did the Pied Piper use to get rid of the creatures? Okay, so my keywords are, what did the Pied Piper use get rid creatures? The word what is really important because that tells me that I'm looking for an object or the name of something. Okay, so as I read, I'm going to think about that question. So I'm skimming through the text. That means I'm reading again really quickly to remind myself what happens in this verse. And as I'm doing that, I'm scanning for something the Pied Piper used to get rid of the creatures. Oh, by means of a secret charm to draw all creatures living beneath the sun. So there I've scanned for the word creatures and I've found it here in the text creatures, and then I'm going to read around it by means of a secret charm. So that's what he's saying he uses to get rid of the creatures. So that'll be what I find and copy, ensuring I spell it accurately. His charm. Read your question, your answer together. What did the Pied Piper use to get rid of the creatures? His charm. So I know I've answered the question that I've been asked. I'd like you to have a go at this one now. So I'll read it to you and then you can pause the video, jot it down, answer your question, and then play the video again and see how you got on. It says, what did the Pied Piper want as payment for getting rid of the rats? Make sure you highlight or underline the keywords in that question. Go back to your text, decide what you're going to scan for. When you've got your answer, underline it, write it down and check your copying spellings accurately. And don't forget to read your question and your answer together at the end. So pause now and have a go. Okay, and the answer to this question is 1,000 guilders. As he says here, will you give me 1,000 guilders? So that was your answer. Well done if you got that. Have a go at this one now. This is based on verses 1 to 6 of the poem, which we have read so far. So use your copy of the text to help you. Using information from the text, put a tick in the correct box to show whether each statement is true or false. So it says, the first statement says, the Pied Piper wore a yellow and green coat. True or false? The people admired the Pied Piper. True or false? And the mayor and corporation were shocked. True or false? Pause the video now, jot down your answer, and then play again to see how you got it. So here's the answer. The first statement was false. The second statement was true. And the third statement was also true. Well done if you got that as your answer. So now you are ready to complete English Activity 2, which involves answering a variety of literal retrieval questions based on verses 1 to 6 of the poem. So some of these are the verses which we read in yesterday's English session. Remember to use the top tips discussed in this teaching video to help you, and you can come back to this at any time. You'll find the activity sheet in your files to download section, and when you've finished you will also find a copy of the answers there too. Use those answers to mark your work, because if you've gone wrong it will help you see instantly where you need to reflect and where you can have another go at some of those questions.